They're going to move expeditiously in the House to bring the articles of impeachment to the floor for a House vote. Legally speaking, I don't think there's any question that under the Constitution, the House could move very quickly. All they need is a majority up or down vote. And a simple majority there means that the President of the United States has been impeached for a second time in his first term. But the House can't mete out any punishment, so to speak. And so then it would move to the Senate, where they would hold a trial with the Chief Justice Roberts presiding. Each side would have the opportunity to put on evidence and arguments, and the Senate is constitutionally tasked with holding that trial and deciding what, if any, punishment should be meted out if indeed the president were to be convicted by the Senate. This would break all sorts of records if they were to impeach and convict the president in 9 days. That certainly has never happened before. We're normally talking about weeks and months for the whole process to play out. Legally, there's no problem with the trial taking place in the Senate after he's left the White House. The Constitution simply says that the Senate has the sole power to try impeachments. So I think it would be very odd if the Senate did not hold a trial. And remember, the House doesn't have to turn the articles of impeachment over tomorrow or the next day. They can sit on them, they can hold them, and in a couple of weeks, we're going to have the Senate controlled by the Democrats, with Vice President-elect Harris being the swing vote there. The Senate is empowered to mete out the conviction, the punishment, if you will. Obviously, once he's gone at noon on January 20th, he can no longer be removed from office. But if you look at the Constitution and you look at the jurisprudence on this, it's also possible to disqualify the president for ever holding federal office again. The 14th Amendment is a post-Civil War amendment. There's a provision in there that I think initially intended to deal with those folks in the Confederacy who engaged in insurrection that says you cannot hold federal office if you engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States. Once the Senate convicts, then the punishments, if you will, can be removal from office or disqualification. And normally, disqualification requires an additional vote. A simple majority has sufficed in the past in the Senate when they've disqualified individuals from holding federal office. But I think what the House has done here by including Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is set it up so that perhaps the Senate doesn't need to take an additional vote. Simply, if they convict under these articles of impeachment, that would result in President Trump being barred from holding federal office in the future.